Hello everyone, welcome to the new video in the series in which we are making Notes app, and in this video we will write test cases for our flows. So we have flows in our repository in core package data, and here is the implementation class, and we have already write the test of all of these methods, repository methods, and we need to test these flows with our test cases. So we will write integration test for that because it involves more than two classes, this nodes repository class itself and the nodes DAO. And the new node insertion listener is a listener. Whenever new node is added through the repository, then that listener will emit the new inserted item. So we will go to our test source set and write the integration test for that, and in here we will start annotation with test of an insert new, what is the name of that, new node insertion listener, new node insertion listener. And what we will do is we will add two new nodes in the repository, and in return we expect that the two new inserted nodes will be which we will get from this new node insertion listener. So we will return two new inserted items. Run test new inserted item, and in the given part we will listen the new insertion listener. So repository dot new insertion dot collect and we will add the collected values in our list named as items, which would be a mutable list of not model and add the items in the list. And in the when part we will insert two items. So not one model would be not one dot two model, and not one ID would be, we will get it from the insert method providing the not one model, and then we will create another variable named that not one model, which contains the updated node with the new inserted ID of the node. And so the not one have been inserted. We will copy and paste this code by pressing Ctrl D and create another node named as not two model, and refactor all of the one with the two, actually replace, and the second node have been inserted. But as we are seeing some warning here that this is unreachable code, this is because this collect function is a terminal operator on, and all the terminal operators on flow are never complete, so the shared flow never, so this execution of this collect method will never complete, and control won't go to the next line. so that's why editor is showing its unreachable code. So what we will do here is we will wrap this in a launch method, just like this. And now in the then part we are expecting two new inserted items. So we will assert with truth assert that items dot 0 would be equal to not 1 model, and item at index 1 should be equal to not 2 item, and the total number of items which we have asserted are 2. So we are expecting the size of the items to 2. And yeah, that's it. So let's run and verify that test is passing. So our test didn't pass successfully, and we have received an error that index 0 out of bound full length 0. So means that no items have been inserted in our items. Then this is because that this launch coroutine takes some amount of time to start the coroutines. In the meantime, the execution won't pause at this stage, and the below code is start executing. So before that collect is happen, actually these things have been executed and the assertion have been occurred. So what we need to do is we need to apply a mechanism here that first this launch coroutine would start, then after that this below code should be executed. So for that, in coroutine for writing tests, there is a specific dispatcher named as unconfined test dispatcher, and this will what this will do is that whenever any coroutine start in the test, then it will first start that coroutine, then move to the and complete that coroutine working, then move to the next line of code. So we also remove this warning here. This is because it's an experimental API, and now we will run it and verify that is it working as expected. Okay, so we got another error here, and that error is saying that after waiting 1 minute there were active child jobs. Means that after the completion, that this unconfined test dispatcher always before completion of testing, it waits for the completion of that specific job, and that in this coroutine we are launching we are collecting the events from the this flow, and this is not cancelling on itself. We need to tell itself that how should it cancel itself. So because for that we have the background scope, so we need to launch this coroutine in background scope. So what this background scope will do is that it will cancel itself on the completion of the test. So let's run it again and verify. So now our test has been successfully passed. And another point regarding this unconfined test dispatcher is that it is recommended by the for coroutines to run all of our during test launch all of our coroutines on same task scheduler. So we will pass the task scheduler here. actually test scheduler. This test scheduler is defined is provided by this run test. So all of our coroutines which we launch during test should be use the same scheduler. So now next we will test our update note listener. So we will create another method here named as update note listener, and we will update 2 items. So we will expect it 2 updated items in return. In given part we will listen the update note listener. So background scope dot launched unconfined test dispatcher with the same test dispatcher which we are getting from the run test. Actually test scheduler, and in here we will listen the events update note listener dot collect, and we will add the collected listener in a list named as item, which is a mutable list which contain not model, and items dot add and pass in the collected item. And next in the when part we will update 2 items. Update note 1 model would be, actually we name it as note 1 model, and note 1 dot 2 model copy, and title would be note 1 title updated, and call the repository method dot update and note 1 model, and next update the note 2 model and note 2 title updated, and pass the note 2 model here. Now in the then part we are expecting two updated items. So truth assert that in items at index 0 we have note 1 model, and at index 1 we have note 2 model, and overall we have 2 items, 2 updated item. So let's run and verify this test. Okay, so tests have been successfully passed, and next we need to write test for this delete note listener. So test delete note listener return to this delete note listener emit the integer value which are the ID of the note. So we are expecting return 2 deleted note IDs. So in the given part we will listen the delete not listener. So background scope dot launch unconfined dispatcher and test scheduler, and in here actually in here repository dot delete not listener dot collect and create a variable here named the items, which contains the deleted not IDs, so which is the mutable list of integer, and items dot add and next in the when part we will delete two first nodes. So here we have node1 model, which is the node1.2 model, and node2 model, which is the node2.2 model, and we will call the repository method dot delete and pass the node1 model dot id, and then we will call again delete node method and pass the node2 model id, and now we will verify that we are expecting two deleted node IDs. So truth assert that node items.0 should contain the index id of node1 model, and items and index 1 should contain the id of node2 model, and the overall we have two items because we have deleted two nodes only. So let's run and verify this test. Okay, so our delete not listener test has been successfully passed. So this is how we can write test for flows. So I hope this would be meaningful information for you. If you have any question, then let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye.